All right, everyone, happy weekend. Hopefully you're having a great weekend. I'm not sure when you're going to get this done. I'm posting it on Friday. You have until Monday at midnight to get this worksheet done and included in the, or uploaded to this assignment. So please make sure you get it done at your earliest convenience. So today we're dealing with checkpoint 4. Now, checkpoint 4 is going to be a two-parter because it is covering a lot of material. Okay, so today is going to be the easier part of it. We're going to do that this Monday. And then next Monday, we will tackle some more challenging shapes. And so I do need you to be aware of how to do this, okay? So we're going to tackle area and perimeter. Now for today, we are focusing on 3 primary shapes. And this is just something that you need to be comfortable with and need to master. We are going to write some stuff down. You will also need a calculator. So everyone must have a calculator. Everyone must have a blank piece of paper. Also, I have included the worksheet. I'm sorry I didn't hand it to you in class. I didn't give you a hard copy of it, so I will need you to print it if possible. If not, I am going to put a stack of these in the office, and you can pick them up at any time on Monday. You just tell the office, you say you have a worksheet to pick up from Mr. Ramirez, if you could pick it up. Now, you don't need to do this worksheet from on a piece of paper. You can do it on a separate piece of paper, but I do expect you to draw the shapes. And I know that seems a little tough, but you can do it. Draw the shapes. Don't have to be perfect. Just do your best and enter the dimensions and then find the area and perimeter, okay? So here we go. Now, the 3 shapes we're focusing on today are these 3. Now, the top one, yes, you might say a rectangle, but basically what we're focusing on is a quadrilateral. A quadrilateral is any 4-sided shape with right side, well, but we're going to be specific here, 4-sided shape with right angles, okay? So a quadrilateral, rectangle / square. The 2 things you need to know about this quadrilateral are area and perimeter. Write these down. So please draw a quadrilateral, a rectangle, and put area and perimeter, okay? The main thing I want to know is how do you find the area of a rectangle? And this is something you should feel comfortable with. Area is length times width. Please notice how I wrote that L. I wrote it as a cursive L so it's not confused with the 1, okay? So length being one of the sides, width being the other side. So to find the area of a rectangle, you just do length times width. Now, that's it, really. Then perimeter, for perimeter, there are 2 things you could put. You could put, how do I find, what would be the area? If the sides are L and W, what would I do for the perimeter, okay? Well, the perimeter is the distance around the shape. If you walked around this shape, the question would be how far did you walk? Well, you walked the length twice and the width twice. So one formula for perimeter is 2 times length plus 2 times width. You could also say, hey, I walked my length and my width twice. So 2 times length times width, which is the same thing, isn't it? Those 2 are the same thing. So you could do length plus width first and then multiply times 2, or you could do 2 times the length and then 2 times the width, okay? The other thing you could say is add up all sides. That works for pretty much all shapes. Add up all the outside to find the perimeter. Got it? So that is perimeter. Write these down. Even if you're like, I know this, just write it down anyway. Okay? All right, next, second shape is a triangle. Now, this rule applies for all triangles. It doesn't have to be a right triangle. It doesn't have to look like this. It could be a triangle that looks like this. Okay? It could be a triangle that looks like this. Okay? All triangles apply the same rule. Area and perimeter. Area and perimeter, what is it? Well, here's the thing. All triangles can be seen as half of a rectangle, okay, / square, okay? You could turn them into that, but it's half of it, all right? Now, that means if you have length, and this is width. Now, some people do length and width. The more common is not length and width. The most common is base and height. Base and height, all right? Now, I do want you to be careful with this here. Here's the biggest issue. If you do base times height, that gives you rectangle. but a triangle is half of that. So my formula for triangles are base times height divided by 2. Base times height divided by 2. All right, be careful with that. However, here is the biggest catch. Here's the biggest thing. Here is the most important thing. Height is from the base, from the bottom part to the highest point at a right angle. Okay? So if you have a triangle like this one here, where it kind of rises up in the middle, or any part in the middle, the height has to drop down from the middle at a right angle, and you've got to know that measurement. That is your height. This is your base. At this one over here, this is your base. This is kind of funky. The height is, again, from the highest point down to the bottom at a right angle. So that is your height. So you do the base times the height divided by 2. Some people do, well, isn't that the same as doing 1/2 times base times height? Yeah. Or do base times height and then divide all that by 2? Yes, you can as well. But I want to write it this way, just base times height. And notice it's a lowercase b. Base times height divided by 2. And then perimeter, for perimeter, here's the thing. Add up all outside parts. Be careful, please. Okay, because if they do like something like this and they give you the height right here, let me do it in green. They give you the height right here, they give you the base. The height actually means nothing because the perimeter is the distance around. So you need to know the numbers around it and not the middle part. Okay, so you just add up all the outside parts of it. Cool? All right, last one, circles. And again, hopefully, my hope is that all of this is just review. Hopefully you feel comfortable doing all this stuff. It's just been a while, so sometimes we forget how to do it. Area and perimeter, okay? I'll address perimeter in just a second. Area. Area, you just have to memorize these formulas. There's one formula for area. Pi times radius squared, okay? And the radius is the distance from the middle of the circle to the outside. That's your radius. From the middle to the outside is your radius. So take pi times the radius, square that, okay? Which, by the way, order of operations says I do the radius squared first. So I do radius squared first, then multiply it by pi. And you're like, well, then why don't I write it that way? We don't write it that way because in algebra, any numbers or values like that, like a set number like this number, pi, go first, and then the letters, the variables, okay? So area is pi times radius squared. Now the perimeter of a circle, perimeter technically of a circle goes by a different name, and that name is circumference. Circumference. Now circumference is the perimeter, so if it says perimeter of a circle, you just find it anyway. It's the same as circumference. And here is the formula for circle. It uses the exact same symbols as the area, just in a different order. It is 2 pi r, or you might also see pi times diameter. And we talked about this just a few days ago, okay? And the diameter is the distance all the way across. Now the diameter is 2 times the radius, and that's why this 2 times this radius will give me the diameter, which is why 2 times the radius is the same as pi times diameter, okay? That's it. So please write down these formulas, have them written down. You will need to use them for what we're going to do. So what we have here is this worksheet that you're going to work on now. And again, enjoy it. This is pretty straightforward. It's just kind of a plug and chug. Do it. I'm going to do a couple for you here, or with you. So I'm going to do the top one. Okay. First of all, let's start with the circle. Now I apologize for the numbers. They're kind of hard to read. This is a 6 up here. Okay. So the area of a circle is pi times radius squared. So on your paper, and guys, I do want to see some work here. Everyone, I do want to see some work, whether it be on a separate piece of paper or if you can, probably. Now, if you're writing this on your own paper, then show the work on your paper, please. Okay, so equals area, and so you just do pi times 6 squared. Okay. Pi, 6 squared is 36, so pi times 36. And on your button, most of you have a calculator that has a button for pi, so I do want you to use the button for pi because that's more exact. So pi times 36 gives you this really crazy number. I don't have much room here, I'm sorry. I'm gonna put it here, 113.0973355. No, you do not need to write all those numbers. I want you to round to the nearest tenth, which is the first number up to the decimal point. So you are gonna round to the nearest tenth, which means this would be 113.1, because the number after it is the one that determines. Since this number after it is 5 or higher, it moves that 0 to a 1. And area is always squared. Now perimeter is, I'm gonna put it on here, is 2 pi r. And you see the pi is 6, or the radius is 2. I'm sorry. The radius is 6.
I didn't understand that.
Yes, my phone picked up that. I'm not talking to you, phone. What are you doing here? I don't get it. Sorry. Okay, so 2 times pi times radius. So you do 2 times pi, and use the pi button, times the radius, which is 6, and you get 37.6991118.4. Again, round to the nearest tenth. So you go here, this 6, you look at the number after it, it's 7, it's 5 or higher, so that moves it up to 37.7 feet. And that is the perimeter of that. Got it? So there are the first 2. I'm gonna do one more. Let's go with the toughest one. Let's go with number 2. Okay, but yeah, now I'm gonna do number 2. It is a square or a quadrilateral or a rectangle. So you do 12 length times width. 12 times 12 is 144. So this would be 144 yards squared. And the perimeter, well, if it's a square, it's 12 and 12 and 12 and 12. 12 times 4, or 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 12 would be 48 yards. Cool. All right, so again, hopefully this is something you feel comfortable doing. It shouldn't take you too long, especially for the circles. I would like to see some work. If you've got some work for the rectangles, it's not too complicated, but you might want to write some numbers in. You probably should write some numbers in. So show me some work along with this. Not for all of them, but for most of them, there should be some type of work. Find the area and perimeter, and then upload a picture of this to your to this assignment when you're done. Got it? Have a wonderful weekend. I will talk to you later. Bye.